Hello dear friends and subscribers. Fortunately enough, got some time today to actually dwell on this cricket happening show. And as far as this particular cricket happening show is concerned, well, what we are really looking at is tomorrow. As you know, yesterday there was one of a wonderful test matches that was enacted at Headingley in Headingley, Leeds, where we saw that England just faltered at the final bend there in the race when Sri Lanka went on to win the test series of the penultimate ball of the test series. Well, as far as this cricket happening is concerned, well, tomorrow we see another exciting test series really going to culminate with the final test starting between West Indies and New Zealand tomorrow, which is going to be played at Bridgetown in Barbados. And Bridgetown in Barbados, we know that when West Indies were at their peak, we all remember that the Pace Brigade, and this was the most fearful pitch for every opposition in the world. But no longer is that the case. There are things that definitely changed after that, and with the West Indies pace attack not having the same teeth that they had before, things have really changed drastically. So, but as far as but one thing is that West Indies came back hard. In fact, New Zealand won the first test match. West Indies won the second test match at Port of Spain with some capital performances coming in from a lot of the batsmen. And tomorrow, West Indies and New Zealand would be playing the third test, and that is going to be the decider tomorrow. And for West Indies, well, they would be hoping that they could put it across New Zealand, because that would be something great, because you will be I mean, that is something, since this is the final test match, they would like to make it 2-1, but New Zealand are not the ones to really rest there. They are definitely going to give it their best. And as I said, both the teams, as I said in my preview of the test series before it started, that both the teams are looking evenly matched in all departments of the game. Let's start off with the West Indies. For West Indies, one good thing in their favor is that we saw Chris Gayle bludgeon on the attack the other day to get to that victory in pretty quick time, when Gayle started lashing at the New Zealand bowlers, and the New Zealand bowlers were absolutely at sea, didn't know where to bowl to Chris Gayle. Such was his mastery over the New Zealand bowling. So that was something which would have come as a breath of fresh air. After that, we saw Craig Braithwaite also do well, and then we saw, in fact, Craig Braithwaite actually got on to a maiden century, or maiden 50, I suppose. I'm not sure of the records here. Kirk Edwards also had a good game there, and then we had Darren Bravo scoring his maiden century as far as West Indies is concerned, because Darren Bravo, I mean, that itself tells you when any player has a lot of, I mean, scoring his 6th century at home for the first time. So you can just imagine 5 centuries have been scored by Darren Bravo, and all the centuries have been scored against the opposition overseas. So that really is the mark of a great batsman, because any person who can do well on overseas pitches than home pitches, one has to really consider them on a really high level. And Darren Bravo, definitely, you know, he has lots of class, and he has that real punch in him, and he showed, and getting his maiden century as far as home is concerned, when he actually picked up his 6th test century at home. So Dan Bravo definitely is there to stay in the West Indies team. There's no doubt about it. Played well. Shivnarine Chandrapal, we all know what an experienced bloke he is, what an accumulator of runs he is, and what a frustrating, I mean, he can really frustrate the opposition's bowlers by digging himself in. Now, Jermaine Blackwood, who was included in pace of Marlon Samuels, if I'm not wrong, really did him a pretty good turn in the first test itself. On his test debut in the first test match, he went on to actually score a 50, a 63. Was pretty exciting stuff. He played some very good strokes. He was not afraid to come down the ground and loft the bowlers, and it was pretty good to see. So Jermaine Blackwood holds a lot of promise as far as West Indies batting is concerned. Dinesh Ramadan, the captain and the wicketkeeper of the team, would be very happy. This is his first series which he is actually leading at home in a test series, and if Dinesh Ramadhan could go with his head high up, if at all West Indies could actually get a victory under the belt in the third test match against New Zealand. And he will also lead with this. I mean, he's a person who is a total contributor, whether it is the wicket-keeping duties or whether he's the captain of the team. And also, he's a very, very handy batsman. And then looking at the bowling, bowling is the one which really had this New Zealand batting in some real trouble. And it all started with Jerome Taylor bowling in the good area, swinging the ball in a very nice manner, and he was ably supported by Shannon Gabriel, who also did a fine job with his bowling. Kemar Roche also did, but Jerome Taylor was the pick of the bowlers, no doubt about that. And then the spinner Suleiman Ben. Well, the West Indies are definitely crippled without having Shane Shillingford, the right arm offie, but I thought still West Indies are doing a pretty good job, even with his absence of Shane Shillingford, who has an impeccable test record as far as wickets are concerned. Now, so that's the thing. So Suleiman Ben is another one who can also bat a bit, and then his bowling is something of a real bonus. His arm ball is something which New Zealand have been really struggling to pick up. So West Indies would be going with all guns blazing in the third test here at Bridgetown in Barbados. Now let's have a look at the New Zealand team. As far as New Zealand are concerned, Tom Latham has been pretty consistent throughout the series. He has been inducted into the New Zealand team, and he has really done something very good for himself, auguring well for the future, collecting 3 consecutive 50s. And then Hamish Rutherford has been a sort of a struggle. He has not been amongst the runs at all. And then we have Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson has been doing well in the sense he probably, one is expecting some a bigger knock from what he has played so far. Even though Kane Williamson scored a century, one is expecting a more substantial contribution because Kane Williamson is the one who is in form here. Now, as you know, Ross Taylor and Brendan McCullum are the ones who have been struggling, especially Brendan McCullum, have been collected only 31 runs in 2 tests, and one would remember that Kane Williamson, Ross Taylor and Brendan McCullum were the chief architects when New Zealand actually won the series against India, when India were touring New Zealand. So it's a question mark. Brendan McCullum, the captain, has not been leading from the front, so his bat has to definitely do the talking here in Bridgetown in Barbados. Ross Taylor also had a very good series against India, has also been struggling. So that is something that New Zealand would like to set it right. They would like to get both their batsmen into top-notch form in this particular test match, if at all New Zealand want to put up a huge score on the board and pile on the pressure on the West Indies. And then Jimmy Neesham has been a very good induction into the team. He has definitely contributed his bit. He also picked up his century in this particular test series. And then we have BJ Watling. Now, BJ Watling, as Brendan McCullum very rightly said, that Brendan McCullum is absolutely happy with BJ Watling's batting, and also his skipping is something which has been improving every game. And BJ Watling, one can really rely on BJ Watling because he's such a type of player who would like to dig himself in, and he can really stay at the wicket for quite a long time to really wear off the opposition bowlers, and that's what he has been precisely doing. He did his best. He did his bit, I would say, BJ Watling, but still he couldn't get much support from the other end, and the wicket started falling in the last test match, but BJ Watling was standing amongst the ruins there. Now the other, looking at the pace attack as far as New Zealand are concerned, Trent Boult has not been really getting his, has not been really delivering in a big way, which is to be expected, because that is something that Trent Boult definitely needs to do. He needs to really get his game up a notch here and bowl and really show that he's a breakthrough bowler. But probably he needs to get amongst the wickets in a more regular manner. Tim Southee, well, he has been doing his job in a wonderful manner. He has been bowling very well. He has been really troubling all the West Indies batsmen, and probably encouraged by the fact, and as you know, this is the decider. What New Zealand have done is that they have decided that this time they are going to go with a three-pronged pace attack, and they have included Neil Wagner at the expense of East Soli, the right-arm leg spinner, who lead a lot of runs but picked up wickets. But as you know, right-arm leg spinners are always a sort of are not a necessary, but they are a luxury as far as so because they definitely tend to leak runs. Well, that is something that but probably one thing that could have gone in the favor of probably after listening, probably there is going to be some rain on the pitch, but I don't know whether that would be a very good decision. But because there's going to be in the pitch, and when the pitch dries, the spinners can really come into the mix. But well, they still decided to leave East Soli, the right-arm leg spinner. It was very impressive, I thought. But Neil Wagner is also a very, very good bowler. He did well against India too, and he has been given an opportunity tomorrow to. I mean, he has had a good record against West Indies. Let me tell you, he made his debut against the West Indies, his Test debut. So Neil Wagner would be raring to go tomorrow, and he's a pretty aggressive type of bowler who really gives it back to the batsman and really shows a lot of aggression while bowling, which is very, very important as far as a fast bowler is concerned. And Neil Wagner will also bring a lot of variety into the mix. So Neil Wagner, Tim South in Trent Bowler, I thought would really prove a formidable combination. And then Mark Craig is the right-arm off. He had a wonderful Test debut, but in the second Test couldn't get amongst the wickets a lot. But as far as the third Test match is concerned, Mark Craig, the right-arm off spinner, has been persisted with only for the reason that the only reason that Mark Craig has actually had the preference over East Soli, the leggy, is probably due to the fact that he stood there with BJ Watling the other day in the second Test match and also showed that he can bat by contributing 67 runs. So that is what probably it has gone in Mark Craig's favour, as they consider him a sort of an all-rounder now. Well, dear fans and subscribers, that is as far as this preview is concerned for the deciding Test match which is coming up tomorrow at Bridgetown in Barbados between New Zealand and West Indies. And other than that, well, looking at some cricket news pretty quickly, not much to really talk about. I believe that England, after losing the Test series against Sri Lanka, have slumped to number 5 as far as ICC Test rankings are concerned. That is some news that I wanted to really share. As you know, the Caribbean Premier League would be played, and that Daniel Vettori, the New Zealand spinner, would be playing for Jamaica Talawas. Other than that, I don't have anything else to really speak about, dear fans and subscribers. On this note, saying that tomorrow is the final Test match of the Test series between West Indies and New Zealand, and it has been pretty exciting so far, and one only hopes that for the spectators' sake that is definitely a result in this match. But as I said, rain could be something which could probably haunt this Test match because there is a lot of forecast as far as rain is concerned, and the news that is coming in is that probably on all the 5 days of the Test match there could be rain. There could be possibility of rain, which is not good news. But one only hopes that the third Test match really comes up to a very I would say a very nice conclusion. Well, dear fans and subscribers, as I said, I just want some time, and I decided to come on this Cricket Happening show and do a pretty quick Cricket Happening show. Thanks for your company as always, and thanks for your regular contributions to this cricket show. Your host Ram. As I said, this week you can say that it is not going to be on a very regular basis, on and off. I'll be doing my Cricket Happening show. Probably from next week you can expect me to be doing this cricket show pretty regularly. But again, as I said, dear fans and friends and subscribers, always keep a watch on this Cricket Happenings channel, on this YouTube, on Cricket Happenings channel on YouTube. It's quite a possibility that you might find Ram on the Cricket Happenings show on that day. Well, on this note, dear fans and subscribers, I'm winding up my Cricket Happenings show for today, promising you that I will, as and when time permits, I'll be back with you on this Cricket Happenings show. Until then, it's a big goodbye to all my dear friends and subscribers. Thank you.